Hey, it's Kevin Toffel with Gigohm. And earlier this month, when I was at the Consumer Electronics Show, one of the most impressive devices that I saw was the Asus Transformer Prime running Android 4.0. Well, the FedEx man just left about 20 minutes ago, and I've got one in my hands right here. This is powered by NVIDIA's Tegra 3 processor, and it goes for about $500 in this 32GB unit. I'm going to show you a close-up of some of the hardware features on this, and we'll actually play with it. But I also want to show you the keyboard dock, which I was able to get a loaner of that too. You got a full keyboard, a mouse pad, and a lot of ports. But the nice thing is, this adds a secondary battery to the tablet. So instead of just being able to run for 10 to 12 hours on this, you can add another up to 8 hours using this. So let me show you what these look like, how it works, and maybe we'll take a look at the browsing and maybe some gaming and some other things here. Alright, let's take a quick overview of the hardware first. This is a 10-inch tablet. The resolution is 1280 by 800, as I said before. Maybe you can see that decent screen viewing angle. It's kind of hard. Again, not much on the front. We've got a 1.2 megapixel front-facing camera, and that's about it. It's got some big bezels that actually makes it easier to hold the device without interacting with the screen. On the bottom side, we've got the docking ports, the mechanism there to do that. It's a 40-pin connector. On the left-hand side, we've got a microphone port here. We've got a micro SD card slot there. I'm not even going to take the card out. We have a micro HDMI port right here, so you can output to an HD TV. And then you have your volume rocker up and down. Top side, we've got the power button right over here. We've got another microphone port there and nothing else. I'll show you on the back while I'm here, 8 megapixel camera that is an f2.4 aperture, so it should let in some extra light that'll help for low light settings. There's an LED flash as well, and then one speaker grill right over here. It's on the right hand side of the back. Continuing around the device, only other thing here on the left hand side is a headphone jack, 3.5 millimeter. Device is very light, thin. If you didn't tell me otherwise, I'd say I've got an iPad in my hands, quite honestly. I'm almost surprised that Asus isn't getting sued as much as Samsung is. Let's move on to the dock, which, as I said, adds extra battery life to the tablet. Here's the docking mechanism. I'll show you how that works in a second. Here's your keyboard, full QWERTY keyboard. It's about 92% in size of a full keyboard, so it's plenty useful. I'd say it's very similar to the Asus netbook keyboards. You've got a trackpad here. It does support multi-touch, although in a limited fashion. I'll get to that in a minute. You've got a button bar down here, and then you can tap to use the button as well. And really, there's not many ports here. There's the 40-pin port, again, for charging. And there's another port here, 30-pin, for docking. And other than that, all we have here is a USB 2.0 port. So it's very thin. It's actually lighter. Oh, we have an SD card slot. I almost missed that. There we go. It's lighter than the tablet itself, which kind of makes this altogether a little tippy. You do need to be careful, but let me see if I can put this in here, like so. And that's that. It's done. It's in. And now I have a little mouse, as you can see, and I can tap and interact with things either via the screen or on the touchpad. Doesn't matter. That works fine. I'm going to actually use the touchpad, 2 fingers, and scroll. And notice it's backwards to me because I have my Macs and iPhone set up to kind of interact the opposite way. But that's okay. That may even be switchable. I'll have to check. Alright. So why don't we take a look at some of the apps on here and see how this works. The first thing I want to point out is some Asus customizations here down at the bottom right. You've got a whole little control panel here where you have your wireless, you've got the battery indicator for both the dock as well as the tablet itself. You've got these different performance modes. This is a power saving mode. Here you've got a balanced mode, and then you've got like a high performance mode. These will help you manage your battery power, which is nice. And you've got your typical controls for wireless and the screen rotation as well. Now here I'm in IPS mode for the display. There's this IPS Plus that if you turn that on, it boosts the screen up to 600 nits, which is about double what the brightness of an iPad is, and that is for outdoor use. Normally though, you can set it on auto, and it's just going to stay where it needs to stay based on the environment around. So let's see, what else do we have here? Widgets, obviously we've got widgets for Android 4.0. This is a gallery, just some beautiful pictures, very nice. Of course you can zoom in and zoom out, no big deal there. They actually look pretty good. I don't know if they were taken with the camera here, but regardless, they do look pretty nice. Here I'm going to hit the home back button on the keyboard. That brings me right back. There's also, here I'm going to get off the home screen, there's a home button on the keyboard. I can just tap that. Of course, I can always do the same thing right here on the actual display itself. Let's go into the browser for a sec. I'm so used to touching, I can really just use the mouse, and I don't know why I'm not. I was running some Sun Spider tests before. Most people don't do that though, so let's go over to our site, take a look and see how quickly it loads. Not too shabby. I'm on Wi-Fi at my house. I can certainly interact here the same way I would normally with a tablet. But I can also, here I'm using the keyboard, I can do that, and then using 2 fingers I can scroll. It's a little bit clunky and chunky to do it that way. You may be better off using a mouse is what I'm thinking already, but we'll see. Hit back again. How about some video? Let's go home for a second, because I know I had YouTube up and running earlier. So let's take a look at a YouTube video in HD. We'll go to my account, GigaOM. Everything loads pretty quickly. The whole interface is actually quite snappy. Some of that may, some of that may have to do with Android 4.0, of course. Some optimizations there. Let's see, can I get into full screen? I can. I'm in HD. I have the sound turned down. That looks super quality right there. It is in HD according to YouTube, so that looks pretty nice. And it really shouldn't do much to hurt the battery life, because again, you can sit here for 12 hours and watch HD video on this device. It's kind of optimized for such. Now there's also a 5th core here called the Ninja core, and that is to help with the battery life as well. It offloads some other tasks, low-level tasks that don't require all the power of the quad core. So that actually works up to 500 megahertz. The quad cores can go all the way up to 1.4. Typically, though, they're at 1.2 gigahertz. So now something earlier I was doing, just because I couldn't help myself, is I took an Xbox controller and I plugged it into that USB port that I showed you earlier. I'm doing that right now. And I am going to go over to, let's use Shadowrun. But this game is optimized for the Tegra 3 processor, so in looking at some screenshots and some comparisons, I've noticed a lot more detail on this device than I have on prior devices. That all looks pretty good. And okay. I'm not very good at this, so I'm just going to run and shoot. Okay, I got him. I know there's another one over there. Where is he? There he is. We'll wait, we'll wait, we'll wait. And now we'll get him, we hope. Oh, I gotta reload. That's a shame. Gameplay looks pretty good. You've got water that I'm walking through. I can see the ripples in the water. Again, you wouldn't see that with, let me reload now. You wouldn't see that with a non-Tegra 3 device right now. Oh, I got something here. Can I get that? Hey, I got some rounds here. Oh, more. And then we'll go here. Cutscene. It looks pretty good. I mean, I can't describe it any better to you than you seeing it and me telling you it just looks really good. HD quality game. Looks fantastic. The controls are working just fine. You can see me moving around. Go forward, go back, forward, left, right. So I could see myself taking this device, hooking it up to my HD TV, and using a wireless controller perhaps to actually, play this game on my HD TV. So not too shabby. All right, we'll go back home. So that's all I want to show you right now, because I need to spend some time with this device. We've got our bookmarks, good old Wikipedia. But I'm very impressed so far with the performance of it compared to the Android 3.1 tablet that I have. I have a Samsung Galaxy Tab 10.1. I see a difference already in the gaming, without a doubt. Just the interface is more fluid and responsive. Everything looks really, really nice, and it's actually a joy to use so far in terms of performance. Now I have to take a look and see how much Android 4.0 brings to the tablet experience itself. So anyway, I'll be back with more. I'm going to play with this, and by play, I probably do mean Shadowrun, yes, or Shadowgun. And I will have a full review of the Asus Transformer Prime with NVIDIA Tegra 3 as soon as I get some more playtime and get a chance to write up my findings.